Welcome to today's podcast. I am Bharadwaj, and in this episode, we are going to take a deep look at the struggles faced by the tribal communities in Telangana. Despite the state's rapid political, social, and economic progress over the past decade, the tribal communities often find themselves left behind. In this podcast, we will explore the challenges they face, including issues related to land rights, education, healthcare, and social inclusion, and discuss what more needs to be done to uplift these marginalized groups. Segment 1, Understanding Telangana's Tribal Communities. Telangana is home to significant number of tribal communities, particularly in its remote and forested regions. These communities, such as the Gonds, Koyas, and Chenchus, have unique cultures, traditions, and lifestyles that are deeply connected to the land they inhabit. However, their socio-economic conditions have often been marked by exclusion, poverty, and marginalization. Cultural and historical significance. Telangana's tribal communities have a rich history contributing to the cultural fabric of the state. Their traditional lifestyles, art forms, and indigenous knowledge systems are an integral part of Telangana's identity. However, their voice in mainstream politics and development processes has often been minimal. Geographical distribution. The tribal population is mainly concentrated in areas like Khammam, Adilabad, Warangal, and Karimnagar. These regions, rich in natural resources, have also seen the encroachment of development projects leading to the displacement of these communities. Segment 2, Key struggles faced by tribal communities in Telangana. Number 1, Land dispossession and forest rights. One of the major struggles of Telangana's tribal communities is the loss of their ancestral land. Many tribal families depend on forest land for their livelihood, but development projects, mining, and industries have led to the displacement of these communities with adequate rehabilitation or compensation. Forest Rights Act. Despite the recognition of tribal land rights under the Forest Rights Act, the implementation of this law has been inconsistent. Many tribals still struggle to claim their rights over forest land, which is vital for their survival and sustenance. Number 2, Poverty and lack of basic amenities. The economic condition of Telangana's tribal communities remains dire with high rates of poverty and underdevelopment. Lack of access to quality education, health care, sanitation, and electricity continues to hinder their progress. Economic disparities. Tribal areas are often neglected when it comes to government welfare programs, leading to severe economic disparities. While urban Telangana witnesses rapid development, tribal areas are often left behind with limited access to basic resources and opportunities. Number 3, Education challenges. Access to quality education remains a significant challenge for tribal communities. Tribal children often drop out of school due to factors such as language barriers, poor infrastructure, and the need to work at an early age to support their families. Cultural disconnect in education. The mainstream education system often fails to address the specific needs and aspirations of tribal students. Many schools lack teachers who understand the local languages or cultural sensitivities, which hampers effective learning. Number 4, Healthcare access and malnutrition. Tribal communities in Telangana suffer from inadequate healthcare facilities. The lack of medical infrastructure, skilled healthcare workers, and financial means to access treatment contributes to high rates of malnutrition and preventable diseases. Health disparities. Tribal areas in Telangana have higher rates of maternal and infant mortality, as well as chronic health issues due to the lack of timely medical intervention and awareness about basic health practices. Number 5. Social exclusion and discrimination. Despite constitutional safeguards, tribal communities continue to face social exclusion, discrimination, and stigmatization. The caste based hierarchies and the marginalized of tribals in mainstream society contribute to their alienation. Segment 3. The state's efforts to address tribal issues. The Telangana government has taken several steps to address the concerns of tribal communities, but challenges remain in their implementation and reach. Number 1. Tribal welfare schemes and programs. Over the years, the state has launched various welfare programs, including scholarships, housing schemes, and healthcare initiatives aimed at improving the living conditions of tribals. However, the effectiveness of these schemes is often hampered by bureaucratic delays and lack of awareness among the tribal population. Number 2. Forest rights and land reforms. The state has been working on the implementation of the Forest Rights Act, which seeks to recognize the land rights of the tribal communities. While there have been some successes, there are still large gaps in implementation, and many tribal families continue to face displacement without adequate compensation or resettlement. Number 3. Empowerment through education and skill development. Several initiatives have been undertaken to improve access to education and vocational training for tribal youth. Government run schools, scholarships, and tribal welfare centers are working towards empowering the younger generation of tribal communities with education and skills for better employment opportunities. Number 4. Healthcare initiatives. The government has also introduced healthcare initiatives like mobile medical units and tribal health camps to improve healthcare access in remote areas. Despite these efforts, there remains a significant gap in the availability of comprehensive healthcare services. Segment 4. What more needs to be done? While the government's efforts are commendable, more targeted and sustainable solutions are required to truly uplift the tribal communities of Telangana. Number 1. Better implementation of forest rights. Ensuring the effective implementation of the Forest Rights Act, providing legal support for land rights claims, and reducing bureaucratic obstacles will help secure tribal land ownership and prevent displacement. Number 2. Enhanced education programs. Tribal education systems needs to be redesigned to be more culturally sensitive, and curricula that acknowledge the unique languages, traditions, and knowledge systems of tribal communities. Special attentions must be paid to creating better infrastructure, hiring qualified teachers, and providing incentives for students to stay in school. Number 3. Improved healthcare access. Expanding healthcare infrastructure in tribal areas, ensuring better outreach of health programs, and providing mobile clinics to address the healthcare needs of tribals can help bridge the healthy disparity gap. Preventive health education and better nutrition programs are also crucial. Number 4. Social inclusion and cultural sensitivity. Creating an inclusive society that values the cultural heritage of tribal communities is crucial. Policies must focus on ending caste based discrimination and ensuring equal opportunities for tribal people in every sphere of society. To wrap up, the struggle of Telangana's tribal communities are a critical issue that needs to be addressed historically. While progress has been made, much more remains to be done. It's important that both the government and society at large prioritize the upliftment of these communities. giving them the opportunities and resources they need to thrive. Thank you for joining us today as we discuss the challenges faced by the Telangana's tribal communities and what can be done to improve their situation. Stay tuned for more thought provoking discussions on issues that impact our society.